It's tipping culture out of control in the USA. Ever had that moment when you're picking up the quick bite at a coffee shop? The cashier's waiting for you to select from the tip screen. You want to hit that no tip button, but you feel guilty and it ended up hitting the 20% tip button? Annoying. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Andy Chen. I'm a CPA, realtor, and insurance agent based in California. I make videos on business and personal finance topics. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel. If you have questions or feedback, please feel free to comment down below. Thank you so much. Today in my video, I'm going to talk about the changing tipping culture in the USA, how we have changed from tipping because we appreciate a great service to tipping easily 15 to 25% simply because it's expected. How should we deal with such a culture? In my video, I will also give suggestions on how to tip smart and fair. Believe it or not, tipping was once not common in the United States, but it gained popularity in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Over the decades, the tipping standards has increased from 10% in the 1950s to 15% in the 1980s and 1990s and to 20% since the 1990s. Today, people typically tip anywhere from 15% to 25%. It's what we call tipflation. The COVID-19 pandemic has made the tipflation worse. Today, it seems like everyone is asking for tips on everything and everywhere in the United States. You dine at the restaurant, tip. You Uber, tip. You pick up food at the takeout, tip. You self-checkout in the grocery store, the machine suggests tips. What am I tipping for at the self-checkout? And don't get me started on those food apps. Oftentimes, after all the fees plus the suggested tip, it's almost the meal cost itself. I'm definitely not against tipping. I believe we should always try to tip well when we genuinely appreciate for the great service or experience given. But we shouldn't have to feel guilty and overtip too. Tipping can be expensive in today's inflationary world. So how can we navigate through the tipping culture and the tipflation in USA without feeling guilty or over-tipping? I have 8 tips to share with you now. Tip number 1, understand the norms. First, understand the tipping norms. Tipping is not customary in some countries and industries. In the US, it's customary to tip in service industries like restaurants, bars, taxis, hotels, barbershops, etc. The typical range is 15% to 20% of the total bill before tax in restaurants, but it can vary depending on the level of service. Like cafes or food trucks, it might just be a few bucks. Knowing the basics can keep you from over-tipping out of confusion. Tip number 2, set a tipping budget. Before you go out to eat or use a service, decide on a reasonable tipping budget based on your overall budget for the activity. Knowing your budget in advance can help you avoid over-tipping under pressure and feeling guilty afterward. Tip number 3, assess the service quality. It's all about quality. If the service is great, go ahead, feel free to leave a large tip. But if you're treated like a doormat, you shouldn't feel ashamed of tipping on the lower side. You can start with the standard, maybe 15% and adjust up or down based on your judgment of a service quality rendered. Trust me, your hard-earned cash should go where it's truly appreciated. Tip number 4, understand the gratuity policy. Some restaurants automatically include a gratuity service charge for larger groups or during special events. Make sure to check the bill and to see if a tip has already been added. You can adjust it if needed, but be aware of this practice to avoid over-tipping unintentionally. Tip number 5, ask for split checks when appropriate. If you're dining with a group, ask the server to split the check. This allows you to control your own tipping amount without feeling pressure to cover others' portions. Tip number 6, consider alternatives. If you don't want to tip for any reason, consider dining at the restaurants that have a no tipping policy, which is becoming more common in some places. These establishments typically pay their staff a higher wage and don't expect tips. Tip number 7, carry cash. Carry cash in smaller denominations so it can be more convenient for tipping. Additionally, you can use smartphone apps for tipping if that makes you more comfortable. Tip number 8, use discretion. Remember, you have the discretion to decide whether to tip and how much. Don't feel guilty to tip low if the service was genuinely poor. No tip is okay for self or non-service item too. Tipping should be a voluntary and genuine expression of appreciation. It should not become an obligation. Otherwise, who would be motivated to provide a good service, right? So there you have it. Navigating the tip culture in the USA doesn't have to be a wallet-wrenching experience. Remember the basics, use your math skill, and tip with your heart. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Please like and subscribe. Get savvy, get rich.